rainforest, Atlantic woodland, moss-covered branches, extraordinary plants and ferns growing from trees. Surely you must have to travel across the globe to find rare habitats like this. As luck would have it, no. In this video I'll be attempting to hike through the heart of Somerset in England, connecting up 7 fragments of temperate rainforest which have become disconnected throughout the ages. As civilization, farming and industry encroach, these wild places are getting harder and harder to find, but I'll be travelling along little-known trails, fighting my way through lush woodlands and crossing some of the most beautiful countryside that England has to offer. So grab a cuppa, get comfortable, and join me on this 23-mile photographic adventure to rediscover the lost rainforests of Somerset. So essentially the photography part of the challenge is I want to get one decent image that I would be happy to display on social media or be seen by people, a noteworthy image, let's say, in each of these 7 little areas of woodland. And it's going to be a bit of a challenge. I don't know what they're going to be like. So far it's looking really, really interesting and cool. A lot of these areas of woodland, they do have a water theme with them, so there is a lot of rivers and streams and maybe a lake or pond or two here and there. So that could be really interesting in the photos. And straight out of the gate, you know, I've been on the trail for, I don't even think I've done a kilometre yet, but I've already seen polypody ferns, which are a surefire sign for temperate rainforest. I've already seen them growing on several trees, and I've seen them on alder trees, which is a first for me actually. Before I've seen them on oaks, beeches and ash, but never on an alder before, so it's always nice to see something a little bit different. But yeah, it's really, really lovely. It's a long time since I've done a big old hike like this, so actually it might be the first time this year. Yeah, so let's see if my legs can handle it, and let's see if we can get some good images. It'd be great if we find some really cool polypody ferns and, you know, some nice mossy stones and that kind of thing, the kind of thing that you usually associate with temperate rainforests. So yeah, it's going to be good. Join me on the walk, and yeah, let's get into it. Like I say, I've only done a kilometre so far, so I'd like to get some miles under the belt and yeah, perhaps catch up in a little while. Right, so because I am sort of coming to the end of this, well, what it looks like on the map is the end of the first little bit of rainforest that I'm in, I kind of want to get a shot in the bag. There hasn't been much in the way of decent photo opportunities through here. It's very, very beautiful, but that doesn't mean that there's a good photo always necessarily. You know, a lot of the polypody ferns in here, they're looking great. Yeah, there's some green, but there's also some sort of yellowing of the leaves, and some are sort of crisping up as well. So at the moment, what I've decided to do, I've actually got I'm no fern expert, by the way, but I think this is called a hart's tongue fern, I believe. So yeah, I've got this, and it's sort of spreading out through the frame, but then in the background I'm going to do it as a long exposure, and I'm going to let the water from the river kind of just flow past through the background, and hopefully that will make the hart's tongue fern in the foreground nice and bold and stand out with a really dreamy atmospheric background with the water rushing past. So yeah, that's my idea. Probably not the greatest image in the world, I wouldn't say, but I'm actually quite happy with it for my first shot. And it's nice that it's not a polypody fern, which is probably going to be a very much recurring theme of this video, is polypody ferns. So yeah, at least it's something different. So yeah, I'm f11 zoomed into about 35mm on this lens. Yeah, I've just taken a shot which looks okay, but I'm probably going to throw a polarizer on in a second. Very conveniently, I've got all my photography gear pretty much in this bum bag here, so whenever I need to take a shot today, it's a case of everything should be in here really, apart from the tripod, which is going to be on my back, which is going to be the main sort of annoying, time-consuming thing that I have to keep doing. So yeah, filters should be in here if I remembered to pack them. There they are. So yeah, I'm going to throw a polarizer on, see how that looks. Hopefully it will bring out some of the saturation in the fern, and then just take a bit of the glare. I've angled it so that there's no sort of bright highlights on the water there, but because the sun is moving in the sky, potentially there may be something since I've just taken that last shot. So this will help as well. Throw a polarizer on and see how it looks. So, slight change of plans. I switched the camera over to a vertical composition just because I felt like it fitted the image more, and to be honest, the sides of the frame weren't looking quite right to me. So yeah, vertical composition, still f11, still focused about a third of the way through the frame, making sure that enough of the fern is in focus. Probably won't be completely in focus at the very foreground, but yeah, a new technique that I haven't tried before. Usually when there's the sunlight behind me, I'm always battling against the fact that the shadow of the camera on the tripod is in the frame. So yeah, usually there's nothing really I can do about that. But today, basically trying, with my body just shielding the sun, and because it's such a tight frame, it actually kind of works. So instead of having these really bright highlights and the shadow of the camera on that fern, basically just using my body to shield it like that, and yeah, hopefully that works. And yeah, ended up being quite a nice shot really. What are we at? It's about 2-second exposure with the polarizer on. I think I'm probably actually going to just leave the polarizer on for the rest of the day now, because, or for the time being anyway, just because I imagine there's probably going to be more shots which are going to need to be polarized, I think, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so first shot in the bag. What was it called? Hart's Tongue fern. Yeah, yeah, hopefully it's good. I'll show you it now. Okay, onwards and upwards. Yeah, quite happy with that shot, but I really am conscious that I need to get a wriggle on. I really want to get some decent miles under my belt and feel like I've made a bit of progress, because I'm still in the first of the 7 woodlands. So yeah, basically I just need to keep the pace up, yeah, just get a few more miles and enjoy it really. I don't want to rush it, but I do kind of want to make some decent progress. If I can, I'd like to make it back to where I parked this evening, but so be it if I have to wild camp. I've got all the gear with me. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, I'm following this brook. It's called Nunney Brook. So from the village of Nunney, following it northwards at the moment. And yeah, I think there's going to be a little bit of a gap in between this one and the next one. I'm not sure. At some point, I guess I turn off this river or brook and move to some other path, I guess. But yeah, it's lovely so far. It's absolutely beautiful. The only thing is, it's beautiful and sunny, but in here, I'm not really getting the sun. It's so shady. Look at this. Oh no, it's not. I thought it was a polypody fern. It's just a shoot, hawthorn shoot. Yes, there's a polypody up close. That's growing out of hazel, actually. That's the first time I've seen it growing out of hazel. Yeah, so this is a really, really rare habitat for the UK, for these ferns to be able to grow out from the trees like that. So they're not getting any nutrients from the soil. They're attached to the trees, and basically they get all of their nutrients. I'll turn you around. So they get all of their water and nutrients from everything that runs down from the tree, basically. So yeah, it's, much of the UK would have been more appropriate or applicable to have these kind of areas of temperate rainforest, because pretty much the whole of the UK is in the temperate zone, but basically because of farming and, you know, changes to land management and things like that. Towns and cities springing up everywhere. You know, these kind of things, they're just not seen anymore. So, you know, if you live in the UK, it's, you know, probably for 95% of people, if you go to your local woodland, you're not going to see this kind of thing. You've got to go to these special places, or these kind of quite hidden places, really. You know, this is someone's local woodland, but yeah, it's just so special that it's supporting these life forms that, you know, really you don't get in many other places in the UK. So yeah, it's lovely. It's absolutely beautiful here. Yeah, really enjoying it, if you can't tell. Hey up. Got some cows. I never know how to tell if a cow is a dairy cow or a beef cow. I'm not sure. Although I can see some of them have some quite big udders. So I guess that means dairy? Yeah. Comment down below if you know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, they have got massive udders, some of them actually. So yeah, maybe that means they're dairy. There's my question answered. Hey. Oh, it's hot now. Oh my god. Can you hear that? It's like a... what was it? Like the D-Day sound, like there's a bloody bomb gonna be dropped. It's gone now. Don't know whether we're near like an army base or something, maybe. Scary? Ay ay ay. Stinging nettles everywhere. Definitely stung a few times there. Don't think many people use this bloody route. Get through the stile. Bosh. Which way? So these things always bloody scare me. It turns out that the public footpath, or the right of way, has been diverted for some reason. I guess because the farmer wants to farm a bit of land that, you know, usually the footpath or the right of way would run through. But then there's this kind of like what you would think is an electric fence with a handle. So you've got to touch the handle. I have been shocked by electric fences before, accidentally. So yeah, these things always scare me, but now I don't really know where to go, because you can see here, then there's another one here, and obviously it says it's diverted, but I don't know which way it's diverted. I'm hoping it's basically like skirting along here. You can see it's not, it's like a little bit overgrown, not many people come this way, so ideally I can get through. It seems okay for now. I tell you what, I get that the farmer needs to farm his land, but you know, there's this bloody electric fence and he's not cutting the grass on the other side where the path is supposed to be, so it's really hard to get through. There's like thistles and stinging nettles and stuff, so ducked under the fence now and walking in this bit because it's just too difficult. Like, look at this. You know, you've got to fight through stinging nettles there, thistles, bits of branch and stuff. So yeah, I am technically, well, I don't know if I'm technically trespassing actually, but I'm not struggling through that anyway. I'll have to duck back under again in a second, but it's such slow progress trying to like work my way through and past all the stinging nettles and stuff. So I'm now nearly at the second area of temperate rainforest, which is on my hike today. So I've definitely decided that if it's quiet enough, I think this one might be fairly busy because I think there's an actual car park for this woodland. But I've decided that if it's nice and quiet, I'm going to take 20 minutes just to have some lunch. I'm getting quite hungry now. It's gone 1 o'clock. I was intending to have lunch by 1. But yeah, a little bit behind schedule. But just want to sort of refresh myself a bit, have some water, have some food, and obviously then we'll be in that woodland and hopefully get image number 2 of the day. So yeah, here's the car park. So there are people here, but hopefully there's a nice spot for lunch. But yeah, the reason I'm showing you the car park is if I do get back at a decent enough time today, and I have no need to wild camp, somewhere like this is perfect to come back to. There's no gates or anything to lock me in, and I can come back in my van. I can sleep in there, and it's a lovely little secluded place. But yeah, it just depends on what other characters are here in the night. It's a weekday, so potentially it might be quite quiet. But yeah, this is Vallis Vale, you can see on the sign there. So privately owned wildlife reserve. Let's see if we can find a spot for lunch. Right, so lunch today is going to consist of 3 things. First of all, I've got some focaccia. I don't expect it to be as good as the Italian stuff, but I don't know, it felt quite lightweight and it also, felt quite nice and soft, so went for that. Got some Milano salami and some Austrian smoky cheese. I love this stuff. I used to basically live on this stuff as a kid. So yeah, I'm gonna eat this. I'm in the second area of temperate rainforest at the moment, just sitting by the river. It's absolutely stunning here. A few dog walkers walking past, but it's very peaceful and quiet. So it's a really nice place to stop for lunch actually. I'm glad I made it to here and didn't stop in like one of those farmers' fields or anything like that. Haven't got the second shot yet. I have seen a contender, so I'm gonna eat first, feel a little bit more refreshed, and then get back into the photography, get that shot in the bag, and then move on. There we go. Look at that. Lunch of champions. I decided to put the whole pack of salami and the whole smoked cheese in here. And then I'll save that other bit of focaccia for dinner, probably. Have it with my dinner. I need this. So hungry. So, shot 2 I've got in the bag. I was a bit of a toss-up between something that was quite similar to the last one with the same species of fern as I had in the first shot that you saw, but then I saw this gorgeous field maple here, and it's just covered with lovely moss there, as you can see. So yeah, I couldn't resist this one. Something different to the last one, and just another sort of classic feature of a temperate rainforest, really, these moss covered mature trees. And yeah, I mean, you don't see field maples this big and well established very often, and then to see it all covered in moss like this, it's great. The sun's sort of gone in a bit now, but it was quite nicely highlighting and backlighting these foreground leaves, and I'll show you there, these leaves, and the moss in the foreground here as well. So yeah, got that shot in the bag. It was a bit tricky actually. It was at a height which was too high for my tripod, but it was so I had to hand hold it, and then I had to have quite a slow shutter speed, so it was difficult to try and get it quite nice and sharp. But I think I went with f14 in the end, and then I think it was about a tenth of a second. So handheld, vertical composition, polarizer on to bring out those greens, and I think it looked quite nice in the end. It's a great tree. Difficult to frame up. There's some polypodies up there as well, which is great. Overall quite a nice shot and something different. This place is just absolutely incredible. It's so inspiring to be somewhere like this. Everywhere you look down here, there's polypodies. Look over here, lovely moss covered branches. It's just so beautiful. So I'm absolutely in my element at the moment. I'm really enjoying this. Obviously I'm concerned about timing and making sure I kind of make good progress and everything like that, but I really don't want to be kind of not in the moment and not enjoy it while I'm here, because I don't personally get to go to places like this every day. So it's so incredible to be somewhere like this, and I'm just really appreciating it. It's just a shame there's not more places like this, really. It's a bit of a hidden gem, really. Even here, just can't help but admire these polypodies down here. It's beautiful. Really enjoying it. This bit I'm walking through at the moment, it's not natural because there's like spruce trees planted here, but it's so lovely. It really does feel like a sort of a Pacific Northwest vibe in America, with the kind of fallen trees and crisscrossing dead branches, and these quite tall, in perspective, quite tall trees compared to our sort of native deciduous trees. So it's lovely. It's always nice on a trail when sort of the mood and the feel of the walk kind of shifts and changes as you're walking and you go through sort of different landscapes. And although those trees were planted, they're not there naturally, it still is a really nice element to be able to walk through somewhere like that and sort of in your mind transport yourself to somewhere that is perhaps a bit more exotic or exciting than plain old England. Although today England is top notch, really. It's absolutely, you can't fault it, really. Lovely weather, lovely places. I don't know if you can see behind me there. I've seen a lot of these bits as I've been walking where they're like old ruins, but it really gives the walk this kind of like ancient feel. It's really quite cool. It makes it feel like you're walking through somewhere that there used to be like a civilization here that's not here anymore. I don't know what it would have been. Could have been something to do with mining, or I know there's some like quarries and maybe they are mines nearby, so maybe it has something to do with that. But there's that, and there's also kind of like the whole way that I've been walking today, there's the remnants of wild garlic. So probably like a month ago it would have been absolutely incredible walking through here, even more incredible than it is. But at the moment it's all been and gone, really. The wild garlic's there, you can see the leaves. Let's see if I can find a bit for you. Oh. Polypody fern. That's just like that, isn't it? You say there's wild garlic everywhere. Look, here it is. Yeah. So all along this walk there's loads of wild garlic, which is an ancient woodland indicator. So it kind of just means that it's a good sign that this woodland, or the soil that's here, potentially has been wooded for a long time, or used to be wooded. I mean, it is basically woodland the whole way along here. There are a few houses and stuff which are kind of adjacent, but yeah, it does sort of feel semi-wild, I suppose. But yeah, definitely feels old. Yeah, which is helped by these sort of ruins. Yeah, really cool. So, little update. Just taken shot number 3 actually. I'm really not sure if I'm in the right place. I think I am. On the map I can see that I'm about to, well, probably in about 10 minutes or so, I'm about to come to the next little village, which is called Mells. Might be more than a village actually, it might be more like a town, a small town. But I remember seeing on the map that the next area of rainforest was due to be literally just before I get to Mells. So I've just taken a shot anyway. There's something a little bit different again. Again, I haven't got my shot of a polypody yet, which is a shame, because I thought, I mean, there are loads here, but I thought I'd be taking, loads of photographs of polypody ferns today, but not so far. Where was it? So here, just walking back to it now, you can see there's these lovely sort of purpley flowers. I'm not sure what they are. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, it's a nice little plant. Doesn't have a fragrance. I kind of thought it might be something, I don't know, like lemon balmy or something like that. But this whole hillside has a load of them, as well as loads of ferns and moss-covered trees. I think I can see some polypody ferns up there as well. So yeah, it was quite a nice scene, and as I'm in the area that I think is right for the temperate rainforest, I thought I'd better take a shot. So yeah, pretty pleased with that one again. I think so far, yeah, all 3 of my shots have been vertical compositions, which isn't normal for me, to be perfectly honest, with my style of photography these days. I'm mainly shooting landscape orientation for no particular reason, but today the shots seem to be lending themselves to vertical. I guess because, usually when I'm photographing, maybe there's not so much interest in the trees, whereas here with the kind of moss covered trees and everything, maybe there's just that bit more interest, and I'm drawn to actually what's up there in the canopy as opposed to just kind of what's at eye level. I don't know, not sure, but yeah, it's certainly refreshing to have a little bit of a change with your photography and try different things. Not that I've never tried doing a vertical composition before, but yeah, it's just nice to be shooting something a bit different, really. So yeah, I'm due to come into this town/village, Mells, in about 10 minutes, I feel like, and I think there's a pub there. I would love to stop for a pint, but I don't know if I will, just due to timings, really. I am way behind where I wanted to be. Ideally I would have left the house earlier and got on the road and parked up and everything much quicker today, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And I've got my gear anyway, my camping gear, if I need to kind of call it an evening at some point. I did have a quick little look yesterday at wild camping spots. Obviously I don't know this area really at all. So far the walk that I'm on, it's very much in a valley, so the only kind of flat part is on the trail really, and I don't want to set up a tent in the middle of the trail, so I won't be doing that. But I did see in one of the woodlands there was like a sort of a clearing bit, maybe where the woodland and the trees had been cleared at some point, and it looked much more open. So that's potentially where I'll aim to camp if I am going to camp. But I am still semi-hopeful that I'll make it back to the car. Be ideal, really. But yeah, I can only do what I can do, really. yeah, so probably won't stop at the pub unless it looks really, really inviting. The other thing, I don't want to end up being really, really tired, having a beer or two and get drowsy and sleepy afterwards. So at the moment I still feel good, you know, I still feel energetic and ready to keep hiking, but if I stop in a pub that might all change. So yeah, I'll crack on. I think I'll skip the pub, or maybe not. Let's see in the next shop whether I'm sipping a beer or not. Ooh. Oh, at the moment I'm bushwhacking through quite an overgrown field. It's like there's a path that runs along adjacent to it, but the footpath came into this field for some reason, and then you kind of just got to trudge through all of this dense undergrowth. Well, not undergrowth, it's mainly clover actually. I presume it's cow food, but yes, heavy going. Hard work. Before that, had an absolutely awful road stretch. It was horrible. It was no pavement at all. Oh look here, look, there's a perfectly good path right there, but for some reason the footpath directed me into here, annoyingly. I'd much rather be walking on a nice surface path. But yeah, before this, horrible road section, no pavement, really fast road, people weren't slowing down, and yeah, it was just really horrible to walk along that kind of terrain, that kind of stretch of path. You know what, I'm going to go over this because it's too... the field ends there anyway. I'm pretty sure I should have been on this the whole time. The farmer doesn't really want me trudging through his field. Obviously now I'm here, I potentially wouldn't recommend people come along this way because it's, at the moment, very frustrating. Yeah, I'll be glad if this is the end of the overgrown bit. Oh look, public footpath there. That's the shortest public footpath way marker that I've ever seen. Usually, you know, they're like head height and above, but that one is very short. Oh, man. There's so much pollen blowing across this field at the moment. It's grass pollen, just kind of every time the wind blows, you know, a gust just sends up all of that pollen. And I have hay fever, so yeah, I'm really hoping that it doesn't flare up my hay fever, because That's the last thing I need right now, to be honest. Already feeling like I'm flagging and my feet are aching. My legs are so itchy from the long grass and nettles and everything. Yeah, a bout of hay fever would possibly send me over the edge or to the pub. So that is the gate I've got to try and get to. Not very far, but let me zoom out. This is what I'm up against. Potentially pretty dangerous. That is the way the footpath goes. Bloody hell. Yeah, I really don't want to do this, but it is the way, technically. Making a lot of noise there. Hopefully he's not tucked away in a corner somewhere where he's gonna be spooked by me coming through the field. There is a trodden path here, luckily. Phew! Made it through. Yeah, couldn't see the bull in the end, luckily. So, back on trail again. Ended up going for a pint. Quite a nice little pub. The football was on. 1-1, England, Denmark. Yeah, it was like just before half time when I was there, so didn't see much of the game. And to be honest, I'm not a football person anyway. So yeah, luckily she filled up my 2-litre bottles of water. So yeah, I've now got 2 fresh, cold litres of water, which is perfect. That was kind of the main reason I actually went there. Got to have a little break as well, which was nice. Take a load off, but yeah, it just highlighted how itchy my legs are. So yeah, just from all the like stinging nettles and everything. So yeah, I'm back on trail now. I've looked ahead at the trail, and there are a couple of like shortcuts potentially that I could do if I do want to make it a bit shorter for myself, but we'll see. I'm not confident that I'll be able to finish this trail today now. So, oh no, my watch has gone. Way. Oh, retrace my steps. Oh, yeah, retraced my steps for a couple of minutes and found it, luckily. Good job it wasn't back in that pub, because to be honest, they weren't the friendliest bunch in there. It was very much like a small town pub where, you know, people look at you like you've just arrived from out of space when you turn up there, especially like with a camera with a microphone and, you know, tripod and everything like that. People honestly, they look at you like you're such a strange person. But yeah, luckily I didn't have to go back in there. And even the barmaid who did the 2 litres of water, she didn't really do it with much of a smile. I did buy a pint. I didn't just go in there and ask for water. So luckily I didn't have to go back there anyway. And yeah, got my watch still working and everything. there. Obviously I'm not up there, but I bet that's a great wild camping spot. If it were a couple of hours later, I would 100% be camping up there, I think, because it's really like middle of nowhere. I don't think there's any houses or farms or anything nearby, so yeah, that'd probably be a really, really good spot. But yeah, it's only just gone 6, so way too early to stop now. But yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm going to be looking out for, is, you know, somewhere off this trail that I'm walking on. I really don't want to be very close to this. I don't want to go too far out of my way at the same time. At the moment, this is ideal, really. You know, it's an established trail. People come along here all the time, so it's well worn. I'm not having to bushwhack through, and you know, likewise, I'm not on a road or anything like that. So this is perfect. In fact, I say that, but you can see here is very very rooty at the moment, so I am having to kind of watch my step. Other than that, you know, it is quick progress compared to some of the stuff that I have been dealing with today. This is absolutely fine. I feel like I'm skipping along. Maybe it's because I've had a beer. Whoop. Rope swing alert. Shall I? Too old. Oh, look at this. Little mini waterfall. It's honestly, it is like an absolute rainforest sometimes. Look at this. At times the kind of term temperate rainforest feels like a little bit of a stretch for some of these places, you know, with the polypody ferns and the lovely lichens and mosses and everything like that. But then at other times, you know, it's so fitting. You wouldn't call it anything else, really. You know, with the plants that they have here, it's definitely as close to a rainforest as you can get in Britain. And at this time of year, in the middle of the summer, when everything's so lush, yeah, definitely feels like trekking through a rainforest, that's for sure. And as you've seen, it has been quite difficult to pass through some bits today. And I could have done with a machete, to be honest, at times. I often think, would that come in handy for hiking along some of these lesser known trails? And yeah, it probably would, but I'd also be pretty crazy to be walking around with a machete. Right, so I'm into the next area of temperate rainforest now. To be honest, it's very dark in here, so if I do find a shot, which obviously is the challenge, more than likely is going to have to use a tripod to get a steady shot. Yeah, at the moment it's not looking very rainforesty. Lots of wild garlic, ferns, but not any polypody ferns, which is usually my kind of clue to know that this area is a temperate rainforest. Yeah, quite steep though. I think I just saw on the map I'm going up to 190 meters now, so yeah, quite a climb. I'll quickly talk you through the shot I just got. So after thinking that, you know, I'm literally at the exit of this little patch of woodland here, and I really thought that I wasn't going to find anything, and then luckily found a nice big spreading mature oak tree with a load of polypody ferns in. So I have now got a shot at least of a polypody fern growing in a tree. It's not the most amazing shot in the world, and really difficult to capture. I really didn't want to have to get the tripod out, so I boosted the ISO all the way up to 1000, which not ideal for landscape photography, but boosted the ISO up, shutter speed, I think I had about 1/100th. It was really tricky to try and get it stable because I had to zoom in fairly far. And yeah, essentially it's just a moss covered oak branch with some polypody ferns growing out of it, which is a nice little shot. Not the most amazing patch of polypody ferns at all, but that's all I had to work with. So yeah, it's tricky. That was tricky, and the autofocus was really struggling as well with trying to get it onto the actual fern rather than the bit of moss behind it, and the plane of focus was so narrow as well. So yeah, that was a tricky one to get, and probably took longer than it should have done for just a handheld shot. But at least I got one within this little patch, so the challenge is still continuing. And now, as you can see, we exit the woods into a lovely, beautiful meadow. So out here, there's still a fair bit of light still there. Look at this. I think is that an orchid? I'm not sure. But this is beautiful. Lovely bit of grassland here. Lots of variety of plant life in here. Stunning. So, just got this shot in the bag. Asham Woods. This is number 5 of 7. So, 2 more to go. Don't know if you can hear those dirt bikes in the background. I sincerely hope they're not going to be riding through these woods. Otherwise, yeah, that would be pretty scary. But yeah, this is another different shot. So, here you can see that tree there, that old oak coppice. So that tree is long dead. You know, there's no life left in it in terms of the tree actually, you know, doing anything else to grow. But it is still supporting, you know, a big clump of polypody ferns right, you know, where the cut points used to be on the coppice stall there. So yeah, it's lovely. It's got quite a lot of character. It's sort of the hollows on the stem of the tree, they sort of look like a face, so that's quite nice. And then the polypody ferns look like it's hair. So yeah, I quite like that. The ferns themselves, I think it might be a little bit early for polypodies. There's a lot of them are sort of frazzled from, you know, probably last year's foliage, and then there's not that much come out yet of this year's. So yeah, this was a nice little find actually. Not the most amazing shot in the world, but I think it's got some character, and yeah, it's definitely telling the story of the temperate rainforest, and it's another element that we haven't seen yet. You know, growing on a big lump of decaying wood like that is quite classic for these temperate rainforests. So yeah, that big lump will continue to give the polypodies somewhere to kind of cling on to for probably another 100 years, you know, probably outlive me, that's for sure. So yeah, it's lovely to see that the old oak is going to be providing life to some other life forms now. You know, that's the way I see it anyway. So yeah, that's shot number 5 in the bag, and temperate woodland or temperate rainforest number 5 in the bag as well. Or not quite yet, gotta get through it first. Gotta get past these bloody motorbikers as well. Yeah, not looking forward to that. This woodland is never ending at the moment. Very big area, but hopefully I'm sort of coming to a bit of a turning point, and then I am thinking I know it's sort of cheating, but in the interest of time I probably am just going to go, you know, from this woodland meet back up with the main road, because literally from here, if I can get back to the road, there's one road that leads me all the way back to where I parked, which, you know, is just going to be so much nicer to spend the night in the back of the van rather than trying to find somewhere. As you can see, like at the moment, if I was really struggling for somewhere to sleep, there's nowhere around here. It's so dense. You know, it's all brambles and yeah, very dense, either dense or on a slope. So, you know, I'd really be struggling to find somewhere to pitch my tent. If I had a hammock, it'd be great. You know, there's so many trees around, I'd easily be able to find somewhere, but I don't. Maybe I should invest in a decent hammock and a tarp, maybe, to go over the top. I have been thinking about that, and that would, you know, solve that issue completely, really. Just set up the hammock between any two of these, like literally just walk off into the woods a little bit, find a couple of decent trees, and then I'm good to go. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, for today I'm going to try and make it back to the car or the van, and I'll sleep in the back of the van. That's the plan. I know the plan's changed several times, but that's what I'm working with at the moment. Yes, I just can't wait to eat. I'm so hungry. Sometimes it just, you know, it's been creeping up, I suppose, for the last hour, but yeah, it's sort of come out of nowhere quite suddenly, quite strong, the hunger. So yeah, I'm thinking about all the kind of foods that I would have. Pizza is usually my go-to when I'm hiking. If I could find somewhere for a pizza, that'd be great. Yeah, I think it's highly unlikely. So this is extremely worrying. I'm coming up to, this is the road, I just need to get to there. There's these massive gates. Oh, thank God. There's a way around it. I had visions that I was going to have to work out some way of climbing over it or going a really long way around it, so yeah, great. That breeze is so nice. I haven't really felt much of a breeze all day, to be honest. So yeah, just been hot and clammy, so having a nice breeze is very, very welcome at the moment. I'm sure probably in not so long it's going to go in the other direction where I need a bit of heat. I've got like down jacket and everything in here. I definitely won't need it in the back of the van, but potentially would have needed it or wanted it if I were wild camping. So better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, as they say. But yeah, this is a bloody long bit that I'm going to be walking on this road, so probably won't film too much, just because it's going to be potentially quite boring, which is a shame, because as you can see behind me, the light is incredible. It's absolutely beautiful at the moment. Golden hour, going into sunset. Yeah, there's some nice clouds in the sky as well, so yeah, it would have been potentially some lovely shots to get if I were somewhere with a bit more of a view rather than walking along a random road in the middle of nowhere. But hey ho, that's where we are. Yes, at least I got the comfort of the van to look forward to. I can't wait. Yeah. So basically, I'm parked just up there, but I want to try and find somewhere that I can cook my food. I've got like a camping meal, so I basically just need to boil water. What do we think to this? There's a bit of a car park and the village shop. There is a bench actually. might just sit on this bench, cook my meal. Not a bad place to have dinner, or to cook dinner. What I'm thinking is I'm just going to cook it, and then I'm going to put it in my bag, and I'll eat it once I get in the van, I think. Oh, God, that's nice to take a load off. Oh, my back was absolutely killing me there. Oh, look at that. Nunny Castle. Quite nice. I could think of worse places to be. Right, let's get some dinner on the go. Right then, in there is my camping stove. There is what we've got for dinner. That's mashed potatoes with mincemeat. Doesn't sound like much, but in my opinion, that's one of the best kind of dehydrated meals that I've tried. That's from Decathlon, and yeah, compared to like the spaghetti bolognese and that kind of thing, this is actually really tasty. So yeah, I highly recommend these. I don't even know if they still make them. This is actually out of date, so it's got to be eaten. Wish I had two, to be perfectly honest. I feel so hungry. But yeah, let's get some water on the boil, and then we can take this back to the van and tuck into some food. That's what it looks like. Doesn't look like much, but smells good. Yeah, you can see she's steaming there. So we have boiling water. Right, got my beef and potatoes. Ready for bed. I've downloaded some episodes of Seinfeld to watch as well. So yeah, I can have a nice relax in the back of the van, hopefully. Where I've parked, I kind of had it in my head that if worst came to worst, that would be a fairly decent spot to park up. But the only thing is, the way my bed sets up, it needs like these bits to flap over so that it makes it long enough. I don't know if I can fit in the back like diagonally. I'm gonna have to try and make something work, but the way I've parked it, I can't really get into one side of the van, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, just literally be there in a minute. So I'm finally back in the van. I'll try and keep my voice down actually, because yeah, just as I was walking up to the van, you know, literally right outside it, there were some people, like just neighbours having a chat outside their house. So I'm parked on a residential road, but it's a tiny little village, so it's not like it's super busy. But yeah, there were people right outside the van, and then one of the ladies sort of followed me, so I didn't come straight back to the van because I really don't want people to know I'm in here. And yeah, just trying to be as stealthy as possible really. So I've set everything up. I'll probably give you guys a bit of a tour in the morning. I'll show you guys my little setup. I've got to have a little bit of a tidy up first thing in the morning as well, because everything's just kind of plonked all to one side to make sure there's enough room for me to sleep in here. And yeah, that meal was supposed to take 8 minutes. It's been about half an hour, more than half an hour, so probably gone a bit lukewarm now, I would have thought. Yeah, I'm going to eat that. I'm going to phone my wife, see how she is, make sure she knows I'm okay, and then I will, yeah, get some rest, get some sleep. watch some Seinfeld first, and then, yeah, up in the morning. Yeah, it's a shame I didn't get to those last two, the last two temperate rainforests, but it is what it is. I'll hopefully go there tomorrow morning and check them out and tick those off the list. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now to make sure I'm as quiet as possible. Yeah, and I'm hungry. Right, night guys, bye.